Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into an incredibly chilling narrative from Cooney Monday. It's a story that perfectly and terrifyingly sits right at that intersection of modern digital fears and classic supernatural hauntings. We're going to analyze how a completely normal moment of late-night loneliness spiraled into an absolute nightmare. We'll unpack the psychological manipulation and the horrifying truth hidden behind a seemingly innocent digital profile. So let's jump right in. So think about it. What is the actual cost of one right swipe? I mean, it's a simple, everyday action for literally millions of people, right? But for our protagonist, a 19-year-old guy named Akash, it was a direct invitation to pure terror. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates a core theme we see over and over, how modern technology just creates entirely new vulnerabilities for us. We're going to track Akash's journey, starting from a deeply emotional low point, just to see how a totally everyday digital interaction became the ultimate gateway for something ancient and sinister to ruin his life.
All right, setting the stage with Section 1, Heartbreak and a Match.
3. That is exactly how many hours Akash had been locked inside his own bathroom on a freezing cold winter night in Delhi. It's 2:30 in the morning. And get this, outside that very door, his best friend and roommate, Rohan, was throwing a birthday party for him. But Akash just couldn't face it. See, just 2 days prior, he went through a brutal breakup. His girlfriend had cheated on him, and as he sat there crying on the icy floor, scrolling through his phone like we all do, he saw his ex had just posted a huge announcement of her new relationship. Talk about salt in the wound. He felt completely helpless, betrayed, and utterly alone. That intense, raw emotional pain, that's the absolute crucial starting point for everything that comes next. Driven by anger and just this desperate need for distraction, Akash impulsively downloads a dating app. We've all been there, right? But within minutes of setting up his profile, boom, his screen lights up with a notification. It's a match. The profile belongs to a girl named Priya, and her picture is drop-dead gorgeous. He sends over a hesitant hi. She replies instantly, and a spark just catches. Eventually, the party outside dies down, the music stops, and Akash retreats to his bed in an empty room, completely glued to his screen. He is fully hooked. As they're chatting, Akash, feeling super vulnerable, actually texts Priya that he really needs a hug tonight. Priya's response? She tells him to close his eyes and smile. When he does, he suddenly feels two actual hands emerge from his mattress, grabbing him incredibly tight. Panicking, he snaps his eyes open, and the very next second, the glass of his bedroom window violently shatters into a million pieces. Before his brain can even process what just happened, his phone buzzes. It's Priya. What happened? Did it hurt? I hugged you so hard in my imagination. When Akash asks how she knew about the window, she just plays it off with a LOL. But here's the wild psychological twist. Akash actually finds comfort in this. The attention she's giving him completely blindfolds him to these glaring, massive red flags.
Moving right along to Section 2, The Mysterious Night Visit.
Okay, so the crucial point here is how this entity totally masks reality. A few days go by, they're chatting every single night, and Akash finally invites her over at 8 p.m. when his roommate is out. There's a knock. Akash opens the door, and there stands Priya, looking absolutely stunning in a beautiful dress. But the tactile reality? It is jarring. When Akash pulls her in for a welcoming hug, her body is literally as cold as ice. I mean, a shocking physical anomaly. Yet again, human rationalization kicks in to save the day. Akash completely dismisses this huge warning sign, just assuming the freezing Delhi winter chilled her to the bone. He even gives her his hoodie to warm up.
Which brings us to Section 3, The Horrifying Mirror Truth.
So Akash turns around to close his large wardrobe. As he does, he catches a reflection in the mirror attached to the door. Sitting on his bed is not the beautiful Priya, but this horrifying, terrifying woman with rotting flesh. Akash's heart literally stops. He slowly turns his head to look directly at the bed, and the beautiful Priya is standing right over by the window, smiling warmly, holding a handmade birthday cake she baked just for him to make up for his ruined party. The cognitive dissonance here is staggering. The mirror showed a literal monster, but his own eyes show him an angel. Still, they sit on the bed and eat the cake. But almost instantly, Akash is hit with this intense, agonizing pain ripping through his stomach and throat. He sprints to the washroom. He starts vomiting. But guys, it is not food. He is violently throwing up strange black and yellow bugs. He's suffocating, gagging, trying to scream. Then, just as suddenly as the bugs appeared, they completely vanish. He looks up, drenched in sweat, and Priya is inexplicably standing right behind him inside the washroom. No warning, no footsteps, just there. Now, how exactly does the human mind protect itself from the impossible? Akash demands to know how she even got in there. Priya calmly claims the washroom door was unlocked, and she was just worried because he was taking so long. And Akash's exhausted, terrified mind, it rationalizes the whole thing as extreme food poisoning causing hallucinations. He actually apologizes for ruining their date, and Priya leaves. He collapses into bed. But later, he jolts awake to the feeling of someone stroking his hair. It's Priya, again. She claims she forgot her phone, found the front door unlocked, and just didn't want to leave him alone while he was in so much pain. She gives him fever meds, tucks him in with multiple blankets to stop his shivering, and eventually, he actually falls asleep.
Let's move into Section 4, the closed bathroom of death.
So the next morning, Akash wakes up, and the very first thing he sees are bloody footprints literally tracked across the walls of his bedroom. What? Then, moments later, he hears a girl weeping coming from the bathroom. He creeps toward the door, peeks inside, and sees the terrifying, rotting woman from the mirror reflection. She's standing right in front of the washroom mirror, sobbing, with dark blood streaming from her eyes. Utterly terrified, Akash sprints out of his flat and runs to get the society's security guard. But of course, when they return, the flat is pristine. No footprints, no crying woman, nothing.
But then, the guard drops a bombshell that changes absolutely everything. He reveals that before Akash and Rohan moved in, that flat had sat completely vacant for years. Why? Because a dead girl's body was found rotting in that exact bathroom. When Akash, completely trembling at this point, asks for the dead girl's name, the guard says it. Priya. And to absolutely seal his panic, the guard checks the security logs and confirms that absolutely no one was granted entry to the building for Akash's flat the previous night. The girl he hugged, the girl who fed him cake, she was never physically there.
And that brings us to our final act, Section 5, the final terrifying warning. So Akash is full-on hyperventilating now. As soon as the guard leaves, his phone starts ringing incessantly. It's Priya. Shaking, he rejects the call, deletes the dating app entirely, and just completely powers down his phone. He throws some clothes in a bag. He needs to get out of that flat immediately. But when he reaches for the front door and swings it open to escape, Priya is standing right there on the other side. She is absolutely furious that he ignored her calls. And right before his eyes, that beautiful illusion finally shatters completely, morphing right back into the horrific, rotting nightmare from the mirror. The entity violently grabs Akash by the throat, lifting him completely off the ground. As he's literally choking to death, she screams at him. This time, I won't let you go anywhere. His vision is fading out. His breath is totally gone. But in a massive, miraculous stroke of luck, his roommate Rohan suddenly unlocks the door and walks in. The very second the ghost locks eyes with Rohan, she just vanishes into thin air, dropping Akash hard onto the floor. Obviously, Akash tells Rohan everything, and they abandon that flat that very day. They move to a completely new place. Months pass. Slowly, the trauma begins to fade into the background. Akash actually returns to a normal life and almost manages to forget the horror he endured. Until one night. He's sitting alone, working late on his laptop. His phone, which is sitting right there on the desk and is completely powered off, suddenly lights up on its own. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Is your phone ever really turned off? Because right there on Akash's screen, a notification pops up. It's a match. His hands are shaking as he picks it up. The front-facing camera has turned on all by itself. And staring back at him through the screen, standing right over his shoulder in his new, safe apartment, is Priya. It is a deeply terrifying reminder that some entities you invite in never ever truly log off. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today, and I'll leave you to ponder just who or what might be waiting on the other side of your next swipe.